Welcome back. Well, yesterday at Flemington we saw the confirmation of a new star in Shiver's Revenge and the emergence of a very new star in Scalacci. Lee Friedman, trained horse who won the Lightning Stakes. Lee joins and you look, Keith. Keith, you look dashing today. What have you done? Is this the Robert De Niro look or something?
No, it's not. Just stepped out of the shower, Bruce, actually. Bruce, firstly, congratulations on being voted by a Victorian-based newspaper as the best commentator. Congratulations.
I haven't seen that, Keith.
Yeah, that was in today's paper. Brian Martin finished second. I work with you both. I think I'm making you both look good.
You might have voted for me, did you, Keith? I haven't got many friends out there. I don't know who did. Well, my mum lives in the state. Hey, Lee, we've seen the new Manicato Scalacci after the race. This is an enormous statement. Yesterday when Lee was interviewed after Scalacci winning the Lightning, he said this horse reminds me a lot of Manicato. You can't be serious. Manicato won 5 William Reeds, 4 Futurities. It was one of the all-time greats.
I think I'm going to live to regret that statement somehow, but no, this horse is very exciting though. I mean, you know, having his 4th run in a race yesterday and winning a Lightning Stakes that easily, it's, you know, he's got unlimited potential.
The thing that was impressive was the way that he won the race. He put 2 lengths in a very good field like that, didn't he?
He was amazing, and I don't know whether he is another Manicato, but Manicato won 29 races. I think this horse is going to win a lot. He's named after Italy's leading striker from the 1990 World Cup, Bruce, and I think there are many goals ahead of this fellow too, Scalacci.
Good pun there, Keith. Shiver's Revenge, Lee, you don't train him, but Bart does. Are you surprised at the improvement this horse has made when you consider last year he was basically a handicapper? He won his first weight for age race yesterday in the style of an up-and-coming champion.
He's made remarkable improvements since the spring, I think. You know, he's always essentially been considered a handicapper, and now he's starting to put it together in weight for age races. And he's been fortunate that both the Manifold and the Blamey yesterday both run at terrific pace, which suited the horse as well.
I sat with you, Keith, during that race, and I know you were deeply impressed. You made the comment here a fortnight ago that we may have seen the demise of one champion and better loosen up, but the emergence of another. Is this your feeling?
I think it is, Bruce. Shiver's Revenge, of course, will now run in the Australian Cup, and his only danger, to my mind, is the stablemate, Let's Elope. On Better Loosen Up, I really think that his last in that small field yesterday has left the Hayes camp with decision time. I think there are only 2 options, rest or retire. He can't go on the way he's racing. Yes,
it seems to be the best way. Maybe come back for one more crack at the spring and forget about this autumn, or give it a miss. He's achieved so much. And
yes, now on that subject, I spoke with Gabe Farrar, the managing owner, this morning. No problem this morning with the tendon of Better Loosen Up. That was soaked in ice, but no problem at all. But they suspect that he has a back problem.
OK, let's go to the Blamey. This horse, Shiver's Revenge, with a flashing run, just like he did in the Chester Manifold.
As they approach the home turner at the 650, Shavano missed by a length and a half. Dr. Grace is close handy, 2 lengths away, then Stylish Century there, followed by Better Loosen Up and Shiver's Revenge as they straighten up with 500 to go. Shavano Miss leads them into the straight by a little over a length. Dr. Grace challenging on the outside. Better Loosen Up followed by Stylish Century, and Shiver's Revenge has pulled to the outside and starting to wind up. About 350 metres left to go. Shavano misses the leader. Dr. Grace and Shiver's Revenge down the outside, starting to come after them. Better Loosen Up can't go up as they run down with 150 to go. Shavano miss. Here comes Shiver's Revenge on the outside and Dr. Grace the centre. Shavano misses the leader. Shiver's Revenge coming after it. It's going home the better. Shiver's Revenge too good. Shiver's Revenge by 3/4 of a length. Shavano miss and Dr. Grace close up third.
Well, he's equal favourite now, 2-1 with Let's Elope for the Australian Cup. If she's successful at Caulfield next week, she may run favourite. Keith just asked you when we were watching the race with Shiver's Revenge whether you'd be tempted to bring Superimpose back for the Australian Cup.
Well, you know, he's got such a good program of races for him in Sydney, I can't really see the point in doing that, unless the weather forced us into that situation.
OK, he has run in the race before and run pretty well, but you've got that big Sydney program. Let's go into the Lightning, because it was such a spectacular win, and we'll talk about this grey horse of Lee's, Scalacci.
Final card. They're off now. And a wraparound looked to jump out pretty well towards the centre. Raw Talent was away quickly on the inside, and Street Ruffian showing speed with Merit Team and Printer's Choice began well. And Justin behind them going forward quickly as Noble Lancer, and they were followed by Final Card and King Marauding going very fast. They're all heading towards the flat side rail as they run down with about 700 metres left to go. Street Ruffian, one of the leaders here with Noble Lancer in the picture, is Merit Team over on the inside. Raw Talent, and they were being followed by Scalacci. Final Card is next down the outside. King Marauding there, followed by Wraparound, and further back is Sonic Express, a long gap to Umatilla, followed by Sarah Fox and Jack Pilra. Delva's a long way back with Planet Ruler, 250 to go now. Here's Final Card and Scalacci. Scalacci's raced up to hit the front, coming down past the 200 and kicked away from Street Ruffian. Final Card finishing on King Marauding, and Wraparound from a long way back, and Umatilla finishing very fast, but Scalacci's got it won. Scalacci goes to the line to win it well by a length and a half. Umatilla, Wraparound's run third.
Well, extraordinary to think that this horse had only had 3 starts prior to yesterday at weight for age and was able to run away from top-class horses when they were running 55.9. Was it a surprise for you? He was well in the market, I know, and he trialled brilliantly during the week.
It wasn't a surprise. I mean, we've known for a long while how good this horse is, but it's always a doubt when you put a horse up into weight for age company the first time. And I said to the owners, if it was a handicap, I'd just declared him unbeatable. But weight for age, we just got to have that little doubt.
Lee, 4/10 of a second outside the record held by Special. She went on and won the Newmarket, as did Placid Arc. So is that the next assignment for Scalacci?
Well, as long as Mr. Bowler's, you know, in a good mood.
He's the handicapper, by the way. What handicap do you want Mr. Bowler to give you, Lee?
Well, I wouldn't like to say. I'll leave it up to Mr. Bowler, but
give us a rough figure.
He'd only won at Kyneton and Sandown midweek before he won yesterday. So
it's a good start calling him Mr. anyway, isn't it? Whatever
it sure is. And I guess you want who's the handicapper in Sydney again to give Superimpose a decent handicap in the Doncaster? Right, Mr. Aho, because he's only won 2 Doncasters and 2 Epsons and $4 million.
He's a very nice man.
Embarrassing to see a grown man pleading, isn't it?
It is on national television. Well, you might have been pleading yesterday with Naturalism, Lee, in the Australian Guineas, the feature race yesterday. Lee's horse was 3 wide all the way, was beaten by a neck. They ran, equalled the course record held by Vo Rogue. Jolly Old Mac, a terrific win, a different riding tactic by Darren Gauci. Let's go to the Guineas.
Coming down to approach the home turn now, ready to explode, about to be tackled by Jolly Old Mac, and just behind them Lorando. Wide on the track there, Naturalism, as they straighten up, and they were followed at the head of the others. Then over on the outside by Carolingian, and Coulong Road is starting to come from a long way back there, homeward bound at the 400. Jolly Old Mac has taken the lead from Ready to Explode, and here comes Naturalism and Lorando, and wider on the track is Coulong Road as they come to the 250. Jolly Old Mac is the leader. Naturalism is under the whip, and they're followed by Ready to Explode and Lorando, but Jolly Old Mac is the leader with about 150 left to go. Naturalism is trying hard. Jolly Old Mac is the leader. Naturalism slowly but surely wearing him down. Don't think he'll make it. Jolly Old Mac has hung on to score. Jolly Old Mac a long head to Naturalism with Lorando third.
Well, a terrific win for John Sadler, and pleasing to see, considering that he had some bad luck in the Debonair a couple of weeks ago. Naturalism, I mean, I was going to say any excuses. It was a terrific run in the circumstances.
It was a great run. I mean, he's probably just looking for more ground now. And you know, John's horse is a very good horse. He won the Standish not long ago, and you know, he's got a terrific future. So I don't think it's any disgrace to be beaten by him in course record time.
Tough question for you, Lee. You replaced your stable jockey last year's Premier jockey, Damien Oliver, with Shane Dye, who will ride Naturalism next start. And any regrets on that replacement now?
No, I had very few regrets in my life, Keith.
Right. And the rider next start? You missed that one.
The question without notice, I don't know.
Okay. Would you think of running Naturalism in the Australian Cup against the older horses? 10 furlongs at Flemington, 3-year-old, weight for age?
Yeah, it's worth thinking about, but I think, you know, with the Autumn Classic coming up and then the Alistair Clark, I mean, you know,
big, races
and then you've got the Derby not long after that. So
there's always the Australian Cup next year, isn't there?
Well, yeah, if the horse is still firing, yeah.
Sure. Okay, the Welter yesterday, good horse this Tasmanian Well Timed, terrific run from Princess Pushy, and we saw a Derby winner in Fire Oak resuming.
Around the home turn and straighten up with 550 to run. West Pacific Prince on the outside. The Boulder has gone up to take the lead with Temperate King, and they're clear from Mamselle Padua. Well Timed is running on pretty well, and they're followed by Torquil down the outside. Zephyr Elko Bay Industrial Diamond. Brosbergen from a long way back. Waggers finishing on, and Fire Oaks a long way back as they run to the 300. Well Timed on the outside has gone up to tackle Temperate King, and they're clear. Zephyr Elko Bay to the clear now, and Princess Pushy is finishing very fast from a long way back. Well Timed is the leader with 50 metres to go. Well Timed in front. Well Timed will win it. Just from Princess Pushy, who flashed home. Zephyr Elko Bay third.
Well, Princess Pushy, another very good run. First up, she's an underrated mare, and Fire Oak didn't really fire a shot, but the important thing with him will be whether he stays sound, because he's had a lot of leg problems. Yes,
and Rod Dawkins on the winner. That was nice to see. He had a couple of trips to Tassie and came back with high recommendation of that horse. Well timed. OK, let's go to Sydney yesterday. Friends Venture looked to be going all right in this. He hits the running rail with 100 metres to go. Pagan Jess successful in the Satellite at 100 to 1. It was his first win in a long, long time.
Tightening up, Pagan Jesters drifting out a bit. There's a rails run there for Friends Venture. Cloudlet on the outside, followed by All Archie, Jacobs Creek and Red Shoes wider out. Friends Venture burst up on the fence to hit the lead at the 200 mark. He's drawn clear. All Archie is trailing him through. Red Shoes on the outside is running home gamely. Friends Venture in front over Pagan Jest, who's coming again. And down the outside, Red Shoes and Generous Prince. But Pagan Jest, after looking well beaten, looks to have just held on to win from Generous Prince, which has jumped out of the ground. There's not much in it. Red Shoes is close up with All Archie.
Yes, Pagan Jest had run 7 out of 7 and 11 out of 11 going into that. He did win the Pago as a 2-year-old, so he was pretty decent, but he's had some leg problems. Lee, good luck for the rest of the autumn. You've got a terrific team, and both in Melbourne and Sydney, and Superimposed particularly we'll be watching with a great deal of interest.
Yes, Bruce, and during the week, Lee's wife Janelle had another little girl, Georgia, and Lee, in recognition of this great occasion, Bruce and I would like to pass this small gift on.
I hope I don't spit it.
I was going to say, Lee, it's the one that Keith spits every Sunday in the program. You better wash it well.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee.
Keith, I just want to know where you got it from, Keith. I won't ask. And by the way, Keith, I do like the new look.
Yeah, okay, that's enough of you. I'm leaving.
Lee, congratulations.
Thanks,
and best of luck to Janelle and the family.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. Motor racing after this. Peter Goddard. Has a long and very rich history.
The Inter-Dominion boasts an honour roll worthy of its status. From the first final in 1936, won by the outstanding Logan Derby, the Interdom has created legends and diminished reputations. The mighty have triumphed and fallen on grand final night. The best include Captain Sandy, who won his second Interdom as a 10-year-old in 1953. Caduceus, whose performance at Harold Park in 1960 remains a cornerstone of trotting folklore. The incomparable Cardigan Bay 3 years later in Adelaide, and Hondo Grattan, who became the first pacer to win consecutive titles in 1973 and 74. Gamelite matched Hondo Grattan when he upset Popular Arm in Auckland in 1983 and then defeated inferior opposition the next year in Adelaide. Moonee Valley is Stage 2 Interdoms. Marcavina won the first in 1978 and Per Chevalier was successful in 1985. The Perth pacer carried a long winning streak into the series, and despite a pre-race scare and a setback at the start, he won comfortably. It takes a special standardbred to win this event, to maintain fitness and form after competing in 4 races in just a fortnight.
Yes, I consider it very much like the Melbourne Cup. Not always the greatest horse wins, whereas the Miracle Mile, I reckon, is like the Cox Plate, where the best always comes to the top. But Neil Donnelly is the media liaison officer for the Inter-Dominion Series. He's a very well-known journalist, both on radio and in the print media, and will be covering the series and will be joining us over the month. Now, it isn't always the best horse, and when you look over the years, we've had some fantastic horses not win the race, like Paleface, Adios and Pure, still a couple that come to mind.
It's remarkable that horses like that don't win, and yet it's a test of greats of stamina. 3 runs in the first week, and that really sorts out the stays from the players.
Now, is this the best series ever? We've talked, the build-up's been extraordinary. We've got a tremendous lot of horses coming from New Zealand, including the defending champion and the Miracle Mile winner. A very, very good group of horses in Australia, including Westburn Grant and now Franco Ice. Is it fair to say it's one of the best series ever?
Undoubtedly. I think that the depth of horse is certainly the best we've ever seen. And in the last dozen years, the New Zealand team has been weak, to be honest, and yet take out Mark Hanover's win last year, and you had to go back to 79 to Rondell to find the previous New Zealand winner. This year they've got 9 or 10 of the best quality standardbreds, including, of course, Christopher Vanson, and all sorts of other top liners, and that doesn't include Franco Ice, an impressionist who are New Zealand bred but now owned and trained in Australia. I think it's the best we've seen yet.
Pretty tough to win in consecutive years. Gamelite and Hondo Grattan have both done it. Now we go back to last year's final and have a look at the final stages of that, where there was a fall in the race and there were lots of excuses, I guess. Mark Hanover, is he going well enough to do a Hondo Grattan and a Gamelite and win in consecutive years?
Well, he was blessed last year, as we'll see in the tape. Everything went his way. He hadn't won a heat, and yet things just fell into place in the final. I really believe that both Christopher Vance and Franco Weiss should have beaten him in this final last year. And he's raced 15 times since and hasn't won a race anywhere, Mark Hanover, since this race.
It's surprising in a way that they're coming then. I mean, you would consider with that sort of form that they may have thought, well, OK, we had our day in Auckland last year, or our night, and we won't have it at Moonee Valley.
Yeah, he's raced against the best company in all the best races, and he's been placed in several of them, but he just seems to have lost this little bit of dash that he had here last year. As you said, excuses. Last year, Christopher Vance carried a flat tyre for the last 2 laps, and Franco Weiss, who we saw flashing home there, he lost 70 or 80 yards 2 laps out, and did that to come home and get beaten a half head and a half head. And they were all 4-year-olds, so I think Mark Hanover will struggle.
OK, Franco Weiss, you've mentioned him. His win in the Victoria Cup last week at Moonee Valley was outstanding. He got up alongside Westbury and Grant in the middle stages. Westbury and Grant had to work a bit to get to the lead, but he was very impressive. He reminds me a great deal of Pure Steel, as tough as him. The one problem I see, Neil, is that when you get such opposition and you have 3 or 4 great horses against you, that one of them just might get the right run and come over the top of you. Yeah,
and that was always Pure Steel's problem, actually. A couple of times Koala King sat on him and ran him down, and Mark Avena did it, of course. Franco Weiss has got fantastic stamina. He's
here he is outside Westbury and Grant in the concluding lap of the Victoria Cup.
And Westbury and Grant this last Saturday night seemed to lack his normal zip. He worked very hard to get to the front, and normally he would have just dashed to the lead. And Brian Gath, who drives Franco Weiss, of course, said later that he always felt as though he had Westbury and Grant covered, even a lap and a half out. But I wouldn't write him off. He's a real champion, Westbury and Grant. He'll come back, and I think Franco Weiss, like you say, he is going to set himself up to be a sitting duck for something like Impressionist, who we see flashing home there now. But he's such a great stay, he'll be there.
Does he have to be driven in that manner? Does he have to always get to what they call in harness racing the death seat outside the leader?
I think he does, because he's a poorly gated horse in that he has trouble getting around corners when he's wide. And he really has to be up outside the leader, because if he has to come from back in the field a lap out, he won't figure in the finish. OK, well, the Harness Racing Board this year has done a tennis job almost by seeding the top horses. As we take a look at the top 8 seeds, and they are as follows. Well, Mark Hanover, probably fortunate. How can he possibly be #1? Automatic ranking.
OK, as
last year's defending champion is always #1.
Well, you see he's won 18 out of 56, prize money on the right. The 2 outstanding horses, no doubt Westbury and Grant and Christopher Vance. I mean, 35 out of 54 Westbury and Grant and 1.7 million. And Christopher Vance, 23 out of 45 and 1.23 in the reigning Miracle Mile winner. You see, and Franco Weiss, also a great record. I see, for me, Christopher Vance versus Franco Weiss versus Westbury and Grant. Am I leaving anyone out?
Well, perhaps not. I think that the big 3, as we really have called them, Franco Weiss, Westbury and Grant, and Christopher Vance, they have fought out. Christopher Vance has only competed in 1 Grand Circuit race. He was the Miracle Mile, which he won convincingly. And the other 2 have won the other 6 between them.
What happened last night? We just look at the latest betting, and I notice a change there, that Christopher Vance is the favourite in front of Franco Weiss. Before last night, they were equal favourites. What happened in the ring at Moonee Valley last night?
Last night, there was an awful lot of money for Christopher Vance, as much as 4-1 was bet about him. And Franco Weiss was heavily backed also. He was 4s into 7-2, and courtesy of one of his new part owners, Tom Hogan, who's a well-known bookmaker and a very big punter, he pinned his ears back at the 4-1. I thought it was pretty handy. You say you've left anyone out? Perhaps Impressionist. He's the rising star, the 4-year-old. And I think the best roughie is a Kiwi mare called Blossom Lady. OK, we saw one horse, Generator, well and truly in the market. A horse won a derby last night, Lots and Lots. Chokin unfortunately broke down and didn't run, but the driver of Lots and Lots reckons it's a lot better than Generator. You can beat him on the track. Yeah. It's a bit of a rap, isn't it? And he's a 3-year-old against a Generator, surprisingly, is by Gamelite, who was a 1-pace grinder and won 2 into the Minions, and his son Generator is exactly the same type of horse. Has to be pushed along in his races all the way. I think he'll struggle in the Inter because he can't dash at any stage, but Lots and Lots, he is something special. OK, let's go to the derby last night from Moonee Valley. Unfortunately, Chokin was scratched. He's an outstanding horse. He's got some leg problems, but this New South Wales horse, Lots and Lots, very impressive.
Of the straight, they race towards the 650, and Lots and Lots still in front by 4 metres. 2 Bonamax on the outside, who's had no luck. Ahead away, 3rd is Ace of Whitby. Then No Equal, 4th on the outside of Fellows Pride. In behind the Merle of Sheffield, now pulling out. Nicholas Branagh stakes his claim out 4 wide, so DB Ace is 5 wide. Mark Apollo held up second last, and last is New York Jet. 400 metres out before the turn. Lots and Lots still 2.5 metres in front of on the outside. Bonamax under pressure. Ace of Whitby needing a run. No Equal pulls 3 wide, so under pressure 4 wide. Nicholas Branagh. Fella's Pride comes off the rail. The rest aren't going well. Earl of Sheffield, Mark Apollo, New York Jet and DB Ace at the 150. Lots and Lots in front. He goes forward. He's 3 metres in front. No Equal is trying to pick him up. Lots and Lots is pulling out plenty. Oh, he's got lots and lots of ability, this bloke, and Lots and Lots is too good for them. Lots and Lots wins the derby by 3.5 metres. No Equal second. Ace of Whitby third.
I must, in wrapping up, ask you the question, would Chokin have beaten Lots and Lots last night, in your opinion?
The way the race was run, with Lots and Lots finding the front quickly, I don't know, it would have been a hell of a race.
OK, Neil, we'll be back throughout the series, and we'll be having guests each week and looking at the heats of the Pacing Championships with that final in a fortnight's time. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Pleasure.
Neil Donnelly. We take a break. Brooke back after this with the updates.